I need to knock my before I do that. What? Good. I go plug it into the printer real quick. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about that.
Hello?
Oh, Fendi got stuck in here.
Hello?
Oh, hi, Yanda. Sorry about that. I had
Okay,
my
no,
volume.
as long as you can hear me, I'm happy.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you really well. I am printing off my thing real quick, my outline. I like almost forgot about this meeting.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe I almost forgot about it. Like, Courtney messaged me on Facebook like a few minutes ago and was like, "We're still meeting at 3 today, right?" I'm like, yes, we are. I'm setting up the meeting right now. So I'm just gonna print my lesson real quick. Sorry if you're like looking at my chest. I don't know what
I
I'm
can't
like.
even see anything, so it's fine. No worries.
Okay. Oh yeah, I don't think I've turned on my camera yet. Maybe.
Yeah, your video's off.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
fine.
guys.
I'll wait. Yeah, I'll wait till you're done. No problem. And then the other thing is, I was trying to find the other document for the assessments. I can't find it on Google Docs because I wanted to edit it, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, weird.
Excuse me.
I'll have
Excuse me.
to send it again.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just send you the document and just through the email, and you can just edit it and send it back.
Okay.
I talked to the teacher and she said that we just really need to do the introduction for that other part. The assessment summary, you know? I'm almost done here, just printing this. Can you hear me okay? Oh no, are you there? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Did you hear what I said about the assignment? Like how we just need to do the introduction for the assessment summary?
Yeah, I didn't. No, I heard like the first little bit, and then I think you cut off.
Okay.
So there needs to be an introduction before the questions.
Yeah, no, not the assessment, but the assessment summary. On that same assignment, like below it, there was a place to submit a summary of the assessment. And
I see.
so we just have to do an introduction for that, which I did set up. So
okay,
I did like start it. So I'll send it to you, and then you can let me know what you think.
Okay, that's fine. And then when do you want to turn it in?
So we need to turn it in soon, like by tomorrow. So
okay,
I'll send it to you right after our meeting, and then
okay.
I'm gonna move to a better spot. I feel like I'm really dark right there. Yeah, that's better, huh? Okay. I'm gonna add Courtney to this real quick. Courtney and Mike. Let's see. I don't know if I can figure out. I need to look up her email here. I feel like such a spaz right now. I can't believe I almost forgot about this meeting.
You'll do well, no worries.
Okay, I just asked her for her email address again. Okay, Leighton, go lay down, please. Let's see.
I'll also check from my side if I've got her email.
Okay. Oh, I got it here.
Okay, cool. Is it Courtney Bello?
Yes, I think that was what it was.
Okay. All right, but if you've got it, then that's fine.
I just sent it. Okay.
Cool. Just check here.
Will you greet them when they come on? Because I'm looking for the presentation real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
No worries. I'm also trying to. Yeah, I'll talk to them, and you don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Or just at least say hi, and then I'll know they're there.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, found it. Good.
All right, and you've got the other one printed in front of you, so
Yes.
that should be good, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to open the outline on my side as well, just so that I can see where you are and follow along, and
Okay, great.
add anything that I need to add on there.
Cool.
I don't know where it is now.
Nope, they're not on yet. Okay. I'm back, so now I can see them when they come on.
Good. Excuse me.
I might ask you to read some things too, just so that like you're a little bit more involved in it. So just so you know, I might ask you to read a slide or something like that.
Okay, cool. No worries. I'll be ready.
Okay, cool. I like had you in my next lesson, I actually put on my outline, like ask Ayanda to read some things so that, you know, it wasn't just like me doing it all. So, you know, because I think we're supposed to be kind of working together. So
Yeah. And I'll do that with the one that I'm also planning now, just like so that we can be able to do it a little bit more together.
yeah. She messaged me and said she's waiting for it to come through. Maybe I'll resend the invitation.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sent it again.
Okay. I don't know why, but I cannot find that lesson one. I'm just gonna have to go into the class. Like I can't find that outline for the first lesson. I've been to Google Docs. I've checked my personal. Excuse me. I don't know why I keep coughing. Sorry.
It's okay. I'll just send it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
As an attachment, real quick.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Oh, I got it. No worries.
Okay, cool.
Yep, it should be good. I'm ready.
Okay, let me just see if she messaged me back here. I wonder if I should just copy the link and put it in the Facebook message. I wonder if I can do that.
That would be perfect. Yeah. Then she can just click on that instead of waiting for the invitation.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if that works any faster for her. It said she saw the message, so hopefully she'll be able to get on quickly. We had like a really busy day. We were trying to get my son's glasses, some new glasses, and moving out of state, our insurance provider changed, and it was like such a nightmare trying to do it. Went to 2 different places, picked out 2 different pairs of glasses, and after it's all said and done, we still don't have glasses for him.
Oh no. Okay. So did they give you like a parameter for when maybe he will be able to have glasses?
Well, the first place we went didn't realize that we were in network, and so we decided to go somewhere else because we thought, well, maybe they're not in network. So we went somewhere else, and same thing happened. They said, oh, you're not in network. You are for eye exams, but not for glasses. So then like we left, and I called the insurance, and they're like, no, they are, and I'm like, well, the person that she spoke with said, oh, there's Courtney. She's here. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you guys doing? Sorry, it took so long for that to come through. I don't know why.
Weird, it still didn't come through, but I got the one from the messenger, so it's good.
Okay, good. Well, maybe that's how I'll just send it to you from now on, so that you guys have it.
Sounds good.
So,
Hi.
how are you guys doing today?
Good, but we're here.
Oh, well, we appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
So I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you guys so you can see the PowerPoint that I put together for you. So hopefully you guys can see it.
There we go.
Can you see the slideshow? Can you guys all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right, so the first lesson that we're going to work with you guys today on is financial management skills, because you both requested that, you learn a little bit about that. It seemed like it was the most important to you, so we wanted to cover that first.
Okay.
So first, I just want to say that this subject is near and dear to me because it's a subject that my husband and I really struggled with for a lot of years. Just communicating about money and trying to budget, and it seemed like we would make a budget and we just had a really hard time sticking to it, and we just never found the right system for us, I guess. But in the last couple years, I would say we've really gotten to the groove of things, and so I'm going to share a little bit about some things that worked for us, and then some things that I've learned in some of the classes I've taken through BYU Idaho. So I have to say this, that Ayanda and I are under the supervision of Dr. Amanda Beal. We are not, licensed family life educators yet, so we have to say that we're under her supervision.
Okay.
So, Ayanda, do you want to go ahead and read this slide for me? Oh, I don't hear Ayanda. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
There you are.
So money problems are harmful to marriage. Debt is one of the top 5 problems in a marriage. Consumer debt is Consumer debt was negatively related to marital satisfaction. The American Bar Association has indicated that 89% of all divorces can be traced to quarrels and accusations over money. Others have estimated that 75% of all divorces result from clashes over finances. Some professional counselors indicate that 4 out of 5 families are strapped with serious money problems.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wanted to share those facts because I think that, you know, I'm sure a lot of people realize that money is a problem in marriage and that it causes a lot of issues in marriage. But even I didn't realize how big of a problem it was in marriage before researching some of this. And it's obviously a real problem, and especially debt, as some of the things that are listed here. So I just wanted to present those facts so you guys could understand sort of, I don't know, the importance of it, I guess. So before we go into learning about budgeting and things like that, I thought maybe we could first talk about communication about finances, because I think that is hard for a lot of people. I know it was for me personally. So first off, trust and honesty are really at the core of financial issues in marriage. See, Courtney, do you want to read that quote for me?
Who?
Oh, Courtney, sorry.
Trust and honesty. Research indicates that couples must be able to trust each other with money and be able to communicate effectively about financial matters, such as checking account management, investment decisions, and planning for retirement. So
yeah, research indicates that couples must be able to trust each other with money and be able to communicate. I think that money is often a really emotional issue, and so, you know, many people get trapped in the cycle of overspending and then feeling guilt about it and trying to hide it or avoid discussing it, and then the other spouse resenting it. And so it's just really an important thing to try to be honest and trustworthy, and then to also hopefully trust your spouse and to communicate about it. So, well, before I go into this, how do you guys feel your skills in discussing money go? Do you feel like you guys talk about it a lot, or do you just kind of avoid the topic?
I feel like we talk about it. I mean, not constantly or anything, but I feel like we talk about it enough that we know where we know that we're struggling.
Yes.
So,
well, that's good that you guys talk about it, because just talking about it all is kind of like a good first step. So I don't know, have you guys heard about I statements before and you statements?
Yeah.
Mike, have you heard about those? So I statements are what they sound like. Statements that start with I. I feel this way. And you statements are statements that start with you, where you always do this, or you never do this, or, So I statements, they're less accusatory. Expresses how a given action or circumstances makes a person feel, and they promote conversation rather than conflict. If you say, I feel anxious when we do not stick to our budget. That is an I statement. A you statement would sound like you never stick to the budget, and you never stick to the budget we make, and it makes me so anxious. So you can kind of hear how the I statement is just, it's less confrontational, where the you statement is accusatory, it elicits feelings of shame and anger, and it provokes defensiveness. So it's really good to use I statements when you're talking about maybe an issue you might be having with money or even any conflict. So I thought maybe we could practice using I statements. So for scenario 1, I'm going to have you, Courtney, come up with an I statement in this scenario. So the scenario is you feel angry because Mike overspent in the clothing budget category and in eating out category of your budget for the month. So can you think that would express your feelings?
Oh. I feel frustrated that you're not the budget that we chose.
Yeah, that's perfect. So then, another part of an I statement too, a good thing to do is you can express how you feel, and then you can also express what you'd like to be done about it. So you could say, I feel frustrated that you didn't stick to the budget this month in these categories, and I really need you to try harder next time, or something like that. So that's a really productive way, I guess you could say, of using an I statement too, because it's even going beyond just expressing your feelings about it, but then also expressing, what you need from them or what you want from them in the future. So it's very constructive for them, So Mike, I'm going to let you go ahead and do scenario 2. So it says your spouse used the credit card and did not tell you, so you missed a payment, causing a penalty fee. So can you think of an I statement there for that scenario?
I feel like we need to communicate more about using the credit card, because you didn't tell me that.
I kind of missed some of what you said. I don't know if you could get a little closer to the mic maybe and then repeat it. Sorry.
Struggling. Okay. I feel like I need to communicate more about using the credit card, because you didn't tell me that you do.
So that was pretty good. I like that you communicated that, you'd like for her to communicate more with you about when she uses it. So good job. So both spouses should be involved in managing finances. Let's see, Ayanda, would you mind reading this slide for me?
Yeah, I'll read it. Before I read it, I also just wanted to make a comment with regards to the activity that we did, and like the importance of the reason why we need to be so united and use the I statements and all those things is so that you can be able to hold each other accountable as well. So it's not just there so that you can be able to say, oh, you do this and I do that, but it's also so that you can be able to hold each other accountable and know that if you do something, then Mike is going to find out, or, so it's not just, oh, I can just go and do whatever I want with my money and then I'll just say sorry afterwards. But when you know that you're thinking about the other person when you are using your finances, that will create more unity in your relationship. But with regards to the statement here, it says both spouses should be involved in managing the finances. So findings generally suggest that although there are a variety of ways couples successfully make financial decisions, having a plan which both parties agreed upon was essential. And in the home, money management between husband and wife should be on a partnership basis, with both parties having a voice in the decision and policy making.
Yeah, thank you. And that went right along with your comment too, because it definitely, communicating about money is part of it, is holding each other accountable. And part of that is both of you being involved. Feel free not to feel comfortable answering this question, but do you guys both get involved in planning a budget or in the financial planning, or do you feel like one of you kind of takes the lead on it?
Like I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like let him know, like, hey, just so you know, we're making this payment, or hey, just so you know, this is how much this is. I do it.
Okay.
Just agrees.
So that's kind of, in me and my husband's marriage, it used to be kind of him that handled everything, and not necessarily by his choice, but I just didn't feel like I had the skills to be successful in that area. And so I kind of let him do it. And from the things I've been learning about in my schooling and things, it seems like this information on this top quote was actually from a research study that was published in like a journal, and it was peer reviewed, and so it's very academically sound. And so and then even this second quote was from a pamphlet that was put out by our church called One for the Money, written by Marvin J. Ashton. And so, both secular and our church findings are that it's better for both to be involved. And then even this next quote, I feel like is almost like a prophetic warning kind of. So it says, control of the money by one spouse as a source of power and authority causes inequality in the marriage and is inappropriate. Conversely, if a marriage partner voluntarily removes himself or herself entirely from family financial management, this is an abdication of necessary responsibility. And so this last part has kind of hit me hard in the past, because I did kind of just think, well, I'm just not very good at it, so I'm just going to, remove myself from it. But, Elder Ashton is saying, like, that's an abdication of necessary responsibility. And so it really is necessary for both partners to be involved in it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, what you're doing is wrong, Courtney, because you're, handling things or whatever, but because, it might be more, it's, Mike is very busy, he works, he goes to school, and so you just have maybe more time on your hands, and so it's more appropriate for you to handle the actual paying of the bills and things. But it's really important for both of you guys to be talking about it a lot and to both be involved in the budgeting and all these decisions, if that makes sense. Yeah. And it sounds like you guys do communicate about money, to some degree, so that's a really good thing. So before you plan, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ayanda.
And I just wanted to say, like, as long as you both know what's happening, as long as you're both working in unity. So sometimes, even though there's like one person doing it, the difference is that sometimes people will be like, I don't know how much my husband earns, and he just does whatever he wants. And then the husband will say, I don't know how much my wife makes, she just does whatever she wants as well. But in your case, it looks like you guys do work together. So I know personally as well that in my marriage, I make all the payments and everything, but I'll let my husband know and say, like, this and this and this and this is what's going to happen. So as long as there is that unity and agreement between the two of you of where the money is going to go, even if there is like one person doing all those payments, like Chantal was saying, there needs to be like a unity and a plan going forward. So it isn't just one person saying, oh, you're going to do everything and I'll just be okay with it, but you both know and agree with each factor and step that you're going to take in that process.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So before you plan your budget, there's some things that you can do that kind of help direct our budgeting, and it's easier to have a plan and stay motivated if you have somewhere you're trying to get. In a perfect world, that place would be the same for both of you. But it is important to talk about these things and to not just assume that your goals are the same. Have you guys discussed your financial goals at all?
We've discussed, a little bit. Like, we know we want to be able to, like, afford to buy a house and pay off the car and everything like that. But I think that that's pretty much the extent of it, don't you think? Yeah.
Those are good things, though. Those are goals, and those are really good goals to have. So it's good to have short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. So a short-term goal would maybe be in the next 1 to 5 years, and the medium-term goal might be in the next 10 to 15 years. Might be in the next 20 to 30 years, or even beyond that. So I just have a few examples here of what like short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals might look like. So in the short-term goals, maybe it might look like in the next 3 years, I would like to have our cars paid off. In the next 5 years, I'd like to have our student loans paid off. Medium-term goals might look like, and then in 10 years from now, I'd like to buy our first home. Long-term goals I would like to have our house halfway paid off in 20 years. I would like to have 300,000 in a retirement fund in 25 years. These are just completely obscure examples that I came up with, but those are kind of some examples of what some goals might look like. So as an activity, I thought maybe you guys could each kind of think of a few goals that you have, and then maybe you could compare them and see if they match up at all. I'm actually just going to escape so I can see you guys here. I apologize. I completely spaced sending beforehand to ask you if you guys had a piece of paper and pen that you guys could do this on. But if you wanted to, you could just take a couple minutes even just to think about it and then share a few of them with each other.
So, okay, so just like what are short term or just like any goals?
Any goals, short term, medium term, long term. If you wanted to think of one of each maybe, or whatever you wanted. If you wanted to do short term goals just because that's, more in the forefront of your minds, that would be fine too.
Two of them. You can be wrong. Okay, sorry. It's going to take a minute.
It's okay. You guys have a couple minutes. That is totally fine. Do you guys have a couple written down?
Hard time thinking over here.
That's okay. We could still wait a couple more minutes. It's all right. Don't feel like you're being rushed.
I really heard that. Okay. So write that down. It's been a long day. We've been up since 3. So we're tired.
Oh my goodness. That is a really long day.
Yeah.
Did you have any, Courtney?
Well, I actually have like short term, medium term, and long term, but the buying a home, like I mentioned before, expect that to happen, 1 to 5 years. So I consider that like long term. Off the car, we are actually pretty close to that, at like a medium, and then we've got some credit card debt now that we're. I mean, it's not crazy, but it can be done within the next year. So that to me, 3, one of each. Like that's really our main focus right now.
That's good. It almost sounds like if your car's going to be paid off pretty soon, that might be more of a short-term goal in the next 5 years, right?
Yeah, I think it would be right in between there.
Okay, cool.
Did you make bigger? So.
Did you have any goals, Mike?
The only thing I can think of is goals for work.
I can't hear you very well, Mike.
Why can't you hear him? That's so weird.
I don't know.
I think of it, you're just gonna need tools for work.
Mechanics. He's gonna have to have his own equipment and everything.
Okay.
You know, that being or nothing. That makes sense. I need to turn this.
Glitched out a little bit. So I understood that you wanted some tools, Mike.
Yeah.
For work.
Yeah.
You're not in the video.
Yes, I am.
Get in the video. Yeah, so like you, in the long run, that's gonna help him with his career. So
I see. So yeah, those are all really good goals, and
that makes
I just wanted to do that activity so you guys could get in the habit of sort of discussing goals and getting an idea of kind of what our priorities for each other and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and screen share now again so we can go back to the presentation.
And while Chantel is doing that, I just also wanted to add something else to that, is that what I really like about the goals that you guys have set for yourselves is that they are like specifically tailored to you. I feel like sometimes, especially younger couples or that have been married for a short amount of time, sometimes you think, okay, this is how old I am, this is where I'm at in life, so I should be in the same stage as so-and-so. So they kind of try to compare their lives and their goals to their friends' goals who have different circumstances. And sometimes that can be dangerous because you can get into debt or get things that really don't help or progress your family in particular. So I just wanted to commend you guys on like having goals that are so focused on you guys. Like there's no other family that's going to have, like you were saying, Mike, tools for work. That's your guys' thing. That's what you guys want. And it's got like a future thing for that. And you want to pay off your particular car. So I like that you guys are not comparing yourselves to other people, but you're just like on your own journey. And that will help you along the way in your financial.
Get caught up at that point. Why aren't we? So I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree too. In fact, a lot of people get in debt early in their marriage because they compare themselves to their parents even, and they want to have the same comforts that they had when they lived at home, but you know, their parents have been married for 20 or 30 years, and it's like you can't expect to have the same lifestyle. It takes a while to get to that point. So yeah, good point, Ayanda. So now we're going to go to creating a budget, to the portion of the presentation. Have you guys heard of zero-based budgeting before?
I have not.
Okay. So this is a monthly cash flow plan. This is something that I downloaded off of the Dave Ramsey website. And after our meeting here, I'm actually going to send you a handout that goes along with this lesson, and it'll have a link to where you can find one of these. So you'll start by putting your income in right up here at the top. You'll fill in the amounts for your various spending, and you'll add all these various sections up, and then you'll have little area totals. So like up here, there's charity. So you'll put in like what you plan to spend for tithing and offering, and you'll tally those up, and then you'll have a total. And you'll have a total in each one of these sections. And I like this sheet because it kind of gives you an idea of what percentage of your total budget you should be spending in these areas. So, you know, here in charity, it has 10 to 15%, and then in housing, 25 to 35%. So these are, you know, what Dave Ramsey recommends. Have you guys heard of him before, Dave Ramsey? Hello? I hear you now.
Yeah.
You guys have him?
Yeah, and he was just saying that his mom loves like reading his books and everything.
Yes, he's awesome. So he is like a really good resource for these sort of things. He has a radio program and really good books out. So this was off of his website, but this is kind of what he recommends as far as like percentages of your income, what you're spending. But then at the end, you're going to put in, here's your take-home pay, and then your category total. So you add up all those totals and you put it in here. And then the idea is you want this number here to be 0. So the amount of money that you get and the amount of money you're spending should equal up to 0. And, you know, some of that might go to debt, some of that might go to savings, hopefully, you know. And so, but the idea is that every dollar has a place to go. Every dollar has a name, you know, to it. And so, and even some of that can be blow money. He calls what he calls blow money, you know, just miscellaneous spending, money, fun money, you know, that sort of thing. But every dollar should have a name on it, basically. It should have a place to go right at the beginning of the month so that none of it gets, you know, wasted, so to speak. So I know that when my husband and I first started using one of those budgeting sheets, it was really hard. And even we're kind of in this situation now since we've moved to a new state and things cost different amounts of money, and he's, you know, at a new job and he's got a different pay rate and things. And so we're still kind of figuring out our budgeting right now in this new situation we're in. But when we first started budgeting, something that helped us was going through our bank records over a period of 2 or 3 months and categorizing the spending that we had over those 2 or 3 months into those cash flow categories on that sheet. And because that'll kind of give you an idea of like, oh, you know, we're spending, you know, just so to speak, we're spending 20% of our budget on lifestyle things, and we really shouldn't be spending so much on, you know, lifestyle things. Or maybe we're spending 20% of our budget on groceries every month, and, you know, maybe we need to cut back on that sort of thing. And so you can kind of look at that, and then you can even compare that to your goals and see, okay, well, if we're trying to pay down our debt, we're spending way too much money every month on things, you know, frivolous things that we shouldn't be spending. And so that was really helpful for us, just trying to get in the habit of budgeting, you know, and it also gives you an idea of what some of your fixed expenses are. You know, fixed expenses being like your rent, your utilities, maybe your healthcare premiums, those sort of things that don't ever change, but just gives you an idea of what you're spending. So I know, Mike, you said that your mom loves Dave Ramsey, and so maybe you guys have heard about these before, but he has these things he calls baby steps, and he has a whole bunch of them, but for your guys' purposes, I just kind of wanted to touch on his top 3 because I felt like they were more specific to your circumstance. So baby step 1 is to have an emergency fund of $1,000, and that emergency fund should be for things like your car breaking down or something that truly is an emergency, not just like, oh, dang it, I went over my budget in clothing again. I guess we'll take from the, you know, emergency fund to pay for this dress I really want. It's like, you know, that's not an emergency. But if your car needs brakes or something along those lines, you know, that would be something appropriate to pull from the emergency fund for. But I hope you guys get what I'm saying. But $1,000 is kind of the first goal. And then the second baby step is called the debt snowball. And I know you guys said that you're working on paying down some of your debt, so maybe this would be something you'd be interested in. But the idea is you start by paying off the smallest debt and gradually move to the largest debt. You know, as you pay off that smallest debt, then the amount of money you're putting towards that, you can move to the larger debt. And, you know, you just keep rolling it. And as you keep going, it gains more momentum and you're able to pay things off quicker. And it's a really good method for paying off debt. And then the last one here on the slide is baby step 3, which is called a fully funded emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So 3 to 6 months worth of what you spend every month, you know?
Yeah. With the emergency, the first one, in $1,000 in cash, does that literally mean like having the cash on hand or just having it in the savings or something?
Well, you can put it in your savings account as long as it's something you can access quickly, you know?
I was just curious if he had a recommendation for that.
You know, I have heard him say in cash, like put it somewhere in your house. Like I think he joked around and said you could put it in a frame. Like some people put it in a frame and and put it somewhere like on the wall, or put it in your safe or something in your house. But I think the idea is just to have it somewhere where it's accessible.
Okay.
And he kind of jokes around. He says, like, don't put it in your sock drawer so that, if the pizza guy comes, you don't have money for a tip, you go get cash out of your sock drawer, like have it somewhere that it's accessible, but don't use it for things that, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's a temptation for you to have it too close by, then maybe don't have it too close by. Yeah. So not necessarily in cash, but it might not be a bad idea to have in cash. I know that the church has given us counsel that it's good to have some cash on hand in case of an emergency with the banking system or something like that. So, it's up to you guys how you want to do it. I think a savings account would be perfectly acceptable if it was something that you could access from your checking, if it's linked. If you had an easy way to access it, I think it would be perfectly fine. So whatever you guys want to do there. So these are just some things that Dave Ramsey recommended as ways to save money. Eating out, definitely, that is very expensive, as you guys know, I'm sure. And so you can really save a lot of money by not eating out. Car payments, I know Dave Ramsey recommends buying used cars over new cars because you can really save a lot of money on your car payment, or even just by buying a car in cash before buying a car, a newer car and having a payment. Groceries every month, he says clipping coupons, waiting for sales, buying generic brands. These can be huge difference makers. Utilities, shut off your lights when you leave your room and entertain yourself with a book instead of a TV. These are just a few ways that you can save. And then clothing, it says we don't need new clothes as often as we think we do. So, and he suggests buying at garage sales and consignment stores. And I even would suggest coupons and sales on that too. This is a debt elimination calendar, and it kind of goes along with what we were talking about with the debt snowball. But it's a really good idea to have an idea of how much money you want to pay towards debt every month. So, this was from One for the Money, and I'm going to include I have a link to where you can get one of these for yourselves also on your handout. But the idea is that you're committing to pay a certain amount on your debt every month. And when you see it on the calendar, it's kind of cool because you can start to see how it's adding up, throughout the months. And I think it's really motivating when you see like, oh man, in 3 months we'll have this much paid off, or by the end of the year we'll have this much paid off, And so I think when you're trying to pay off debt, any motivation you can get is good because it definitely is very discouraging. Debt is very discouraging. And it can sometimes feel like it's just never going to be gone. So I really like this example. Tips for saving. Open up a savings account. If you don't have a savings account, there's nowhere for you to put your money. So it's a really good place to have a place. It's a really good idea to have a place for your money to go if you're trying to save, Start your budget with savings rather than budgeting it in at the end. And what I mean by that is maybe have an idea, that, and in your situation, it might be $50 or $20, but have an amount that you want to save, like a minimum amount that you want to put in savings every month, and kind of budget that in right at the beginning so that you know how much you want to save, or so that it gets in there, it doesn't just get forgotten about. And then consider striving to save a certain amount every month, or perhaps a percentage. Maybe you want to save 5% of your income every month, something like that. It's just good to have sort of like I said, a minimum idea.
Okay.
So now you have a budget. So now what? So obviously you guys don't have a budget, but you will, or maybe you do actually. I shouldn't say that. So at this point in the presentation, we've talked about budgeting and what should you do? Well, you need to record your expenses, because if you create a budget and you don't record your expenses, then your budget is worthless. you have to make sure that you're sticking to it within the month. So do you guys have like a budgeting app that you guys use or something to help you record your expenses?
Did before my phone reset. I don't remember what it was, but I actually think it was one that you had recommended before. I don't
Oh, the
remember
Every
which one.
Dollar? So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the one I use, and I really like it. Some people don't like it as much because you actually have to manually input your expenses, but that's kind of one of the things I like about it. I like that it requires me to be accountable and actively engaging in it every day, you know? Some of these other apps, like I tried this one, Mint, before, and it just links to your checking account, and so it automatically logs into their app every time you spend money. And for some people, that works really well too, you know? But the thing is, then you have to be really good about checking it every day and like looking to see, oh, you know, how much have I spent in groceries? I need to, you know, just to keep track of it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that might be an option for you. I know what I do with the Every Dollar is I log my expenses and then I double check it with my bank account just to make sure that I didn't miss anything every so often. So another recommendation I had was that when you're budgeting, it's really good to sort of look like, okay, so we're 10 days into the month. How much money have I spent? What percentage of my money have I spent in these different categories, like groceries especially, because groceries is something you're always buying. So you can look and see, okay, so I budgeted $300 for groceries this month, and it's 10 days in, and I've already spent $200 of that money. Well, that's 2/3, and you're only 1/3 of the way in. So it's kind of a good idea to just kind of think about how far into the month you are and how your money is tracking, I guess, you know, so trying to pace yourself throughout the month on your spending. And even another idea that I'd heard from somebody was kind of have like a cap for yourself every time you go to the grocery store. So maybe you say, I don't want to spend more than $30 at every trip, because I know that I go about, you know, 2 or 3 times a week and I only want to spend $300. Well, if I went 3 times a week, that would be $90 a week, so I wouldn't go over the 300, if that makes sense. And then another really good idea to kind of help you guys stay on top of things is to have like weekly checkups or a couples council to discuss the budget and other family issues. When my husband and I first started trying to really be good about budgeting, we made a habit of every Monday night after a family home evening and after we put the kids to bed of talking about our budget and looking at it and seeing if anything needed to change, especially once you first start. There's going to be a lot of tweaking that you need to do because you can see, oh, we didn't account for this, or, oh, I guess we spend more than we thought in this category, you know, and so you'll have to move some things around, or maybe something comes up that you weren't expecting, a bill you forgot about, or, you know, maybe your car registration's up and you forgot that it was coming up that month or something like that. So it's really important to just have these meetings on a regular basis. I recommend weekly. I've other experts I've heard from recommend weekly, but whatever works for you guys would be good. Let's see, Mike, do you want to read this quote right here from Elder Ballard?
Family councils are ideal forums for effective communication to take place.
Great. Thanks, Mike. I heard you really loud and clear there. So these principles have worked for me, and I know they'll help you. I guess I sort of just wanted to give like my personal testimony that I have done all of these things that I have told you guys about, and they've worked really well for us. Like we were able to pay off our car in, I think, about 16 months when we owed like $13,000 left on it. And we were able to pay it off in 16 months and be debt free. And it felt so good. It still feels really good that we're debt free and we're working towards buying a house at this point. And all these things are what helped us, you know, creating a budget, talking about it often, and kind of talking about it often, I think, helped get rid of the guilt and the shame, I guess, sort of feeling that you feel sometimes when you're talking about money, and just because you're constantly doing it. And sometimes it's like you can't, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just doing it and doing it and doing it. Practice makes perfect kind of thing. Like the more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes. And so I think talking about it often helped. Definitely recording our expenses helped. And then even just creating the budget itself, that's a big part of it. And it's to the point now where honestly, I handle more of our finances than my husband does. And it used to be the opposite way, but it's really fun once you get into it. And of course we still talk about it a lot, and we're always communicating about it, really. But it's just really fun once you get into it. And I think you guys will have fun with it too. And I know it's stressful, and you've got debt and you're in school, and you've got a baby on the way and everything, but I hope that some of the things we've talked about today will help you guys on your financial path. Ayanda, did you have any statement or any comments or anything?
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to mention was sometimes when we don't earn as much as we would like to, then we think, oh yeah, when I earn more, I'll start using my money better. But for now, I'm just going to do this and that because I don't earn enough. But I think if you can get a handle on the principles that we shared now at this point in your lives, when you do start earning more, and because the time will come that you will start earning more. You guys are working hard to get to that point. When you do start earning more, you'll have a better handle on that as well, because I've heard of and seen so many people where they start earning more and they're still making bad decisions and they still can't control their finances. So they still like constantly feeling like they're reaching towards something that they can't get to. So if you start small where you are now and you can handle that, then when more comes, then it's just continuing with what you've already started.
I wholeheartedly agree. Thanks for sharing that, Ayanda, because we definitely have to try to be happy where we are, like try to just be present in the moment rather than trying to look for someday we'll be happy, someday when we have money, we'll be more secure. And you just have to try to just find the joys from where you are in your situation, and just don't get discouraged and just keep pressing on, and I guess there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I want to just share with you guys this handout real quick before we go. I'm going to screen share again and just show you a little bit of some of the things I was talking to you about this handout. This will be the handout that I'll email you, and it has some homework for you guys to do. Start filling out the monthly cash flow sheet and strive to create a budget this month. I don't know if you guys have a budget already, but it would be great if this week, maybe sometime you guys could sit down and try to create a budget, or even just start looking over your expenses the last few months and try to start filling out that monthly cash flow sheet. And that way you can work towards creating a budget. And then there's a link down here to counsel. It's called Counsel Together Off, Family Counsels for Couples. And I'd love for you guys to read that. It's all about family counsels and couples counsels, and just sort of about the benefits of it, and maybe an outline for you to know about how to go about doing it. And then read One for the Money, which is a pamphlet. Have you guys ever seen that pamphlet before?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know.
I think that I had only ever seen it in like a marriage class or something that I took one time, but it's kind of an older pamphlet, but it's got a lot of really great information on it and just really good counsel. And so I put a link in here for that for you guys as well. And then on the side here is just that list of the apps that I was telling you about. If you guys do decide to continue using Every Dollar, I recommend putting your budget in on the computer instead of on the app, because I think the computer site is easier for budgeting. Just my personal opinion on that. So, did you guys have any questions or anything for us?
No. I kind of want to start on the budget thingy, because I've had a sheet that I've tried to fill out I don't feel like it was that detailed, and I don't feel like I decide and then I just forget about it. So I really want to try that. Go through with it.
Great.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know exactly what you mean, because that was my problem. Like, we'd create a budget and then didn't do anything with it. So I was like, why did we even do it? Why did we even waste our time doing it?
I have a binder full of like resources and everything, and then I just don't use it. And every other month, and then I'm like, oh well, you didn't do that.
Yeah, that's why I think those apps are really great, because they just make them so accessible. You know, they're right in your hand in your smartphone, and you can, you know, if you and Mike get an account together, like on every dollar, Mark and I use the same account. And so if he logs it, it goes to mine. You know, it's all in the same account. And so we can each log our spending, and then it's linked together. And it's like, it just makes it almost does part of the communicating for us, you know?
Great.
Cool. Yeah.
Did you want to say something, Ayanda? Sorry.
No. I was just saying that, like, using the app together and things like that. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Nothing more than that.
I didn't realize that you could do that. So we're both going to download. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, great. Well, we will hopefully we'll try to connect with you and meet up with you guys next week, and then it'll be Yanda's turn to do a presentation for you guys. So.
And then you're going to forward that all to me?
Yes, I will send it to you right now. As soon as we end our conversation, I'll send you that.
I will message you a different email address, just because I think I'm having issues with my Gmail. So, but a better email so I can have it.
Okay, perfect. All right, so yeah, just message me that, and then I'll send you the document.
Sounds good.
All right, well, thanks for meeting with us, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Well, that went well, I think.
Yeah, that went really, really well. I couldn't hear Mike for part of the, like, not even part, like, I think I only heard him once when he was reading the quote. But it was good, and I like that they participated and they had insights, and yeah, I think it went very well.
Yeah, I know. I was having a hard time hearing him too, but towards the end there, I heard him a lot better.
And it looked like we could see him as well. Like in the beginning, he was like this.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so yeah, I think he's just very quiet and reserved. And there's people like that, but yeah, I do like that he's still there. He wants to participate and he wants to be there. Yeah, but I think you did very, very well. That was a good presentation. The time factor as well, I like worked perfectly, because we started a little bit later, and it's 1 a.m. now. Okay, no, sorry, it's is it 4?
Yeah, it's 4.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's like on the hour, and I think we did start at about, so it's exactly timed the way that it was supposed to be, and it worked out perfectly. So yeah,
Yay.
Well done.
Thanks. All right, well,
So
I will let you know like what her schedule is like next week, and then we can schedule yours. Is there a day or time that works best for you, or anything that you need to work around next week, other than that class that you had mentioned?
No, the class is the only thing that would keep me from meeting. But apart from the class, usually I'm able to meet like from around about 10 a.m. onwards.
Okay, perfect. I'll let her know. It seems like this time is kind of what works for her. Those are the last time we met, it was the same time. So I'll ask her what day and time works for her, and then I'll let you know so we can schedule that. And I'm gonna put it in my phone so that I don't forget, because I can't believe I almost forgot today.
Busy with Halloween plans?
Yeah, and that stuff with my son's glasses. So
Yeah,
anyways.
that too.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyways.
with that. So what I'm gonna do is I've also had a pretty long day, so I'm gonna go to bed, but I will be up in like 3 hours, and then I'll look at the other thing. So I hope you don't mind that I do that.
No.
Look at the assessment thing, and I'll look at that and edit anything. So you said you'll send the document to me, right? I've been looking for, I can't find it. I know you sent me the link, but I just can't find it in the messages that you sent me.
Okay, no worries.
you
I'll
don't-
send it to you. I'll send them both to you just in case. But yeah, I'll send them both to you.
Okay, no worries. So I'll just edit that and send it back to you, and then we can turn it in sometime, obviously before the end of the day tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. I'll send that over then. You go to bed.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.